Right. I'm Jill from Horse Bit Advice, and as some of you may know, that I run courses to teach people to do what I do, the bitting consultancy course, and we're joined tonight by Julia Melchlin, and she was on the course in October 24. And I just think it'd be really interesting to hear from what I call a real person about the course. Obviously, I'm going to generate some questions, and then hopefully Julia will be able to come back and give you her view on how the course was, why she chose it, etc. Um, because it's the consultancy course is the end, the pinnacle of it, because that's where you're going to go off and actually run your business or start a business, either join an original skill set you've already got or go completely just bitting. But we have snaffle classes, master classes, double bridle master classes, and also bitting days where you can get a group together and we bit as a group. So if you take a look at the website, there's plenty on there. But so I'm going to get on and start to ask Julia some questions. We're not going to make it long and drawn out, but I thought, like I say, it's just really good to hear from somebody that has gone through that journey and what they've got out of it. So, Julia, what made you look for a course about bitting and what made you choose mine?
Okay, so I'd worked with horses for about 40 years, and I did a couple of years ago, I did the Sue Dyson 24 Signs of Ridden Pain, Pain in the Ridden Horse, the ethogram training, and noticed really on all of those videos and pictures that the horses, a lot of the signs were coming through their face. And then I looked more at those pictures and saw that a lot of these horses that were clearly really, really uncomfortable had their mouths strapped shut with with flash nose bands or grapples or whatever, and the bits were being pulled through, and it all looked really horrible. And it just made me start to think because nothing in my training before had ever really talked about bitting. I mean, I'd learned the families of bits and I learned a rough idea about the actions, but that was a long time ago. So I started looking, and it wasn't initially to do a course; it was just to find out some more information about it. And then because I was doing that, I started to find there were various courses out there. But when I looked at them, they were online and they were very what I call dry. So there wasn't a lot of interaction with anybody else. It was just you learnt online, and that was it. And when I came across your course and discovered that actually there was the Zoom calls before, and then there were 3 days of practical. So you were always talking to people and learning from people. I thought that would be a really good way to go. And then that's kind of when the idea of becoming a bit fitter actually started to
And your
grow.
history, Julia, you teach as well, don't you? You,
Yes, yes,
you
yes. So I've been a BHS coach for 40 odd years, yeah, and I run a livery yard.
Yeah, so majorly a heavy interest, even to help your other clients. But I like that you said it were, the other courses were dry, and I'm not there to kind of be dismissive of any other people's courses because obviously, as we say, horses for courses. Everybody goes to what they feel or their way of learning. I'm a very logical. I don't really read stuff. I have to feel it, see it, all those things, and I think that's a really good way of putting it. That it does have to be interactive, and even dare I say it within the group and with us all working together questions were asked, and whether it be on WhatsApp or face to face on the Zooms, it even made me go, "Oh yeah, no, I need to think about that." But I think that's it. You're going to have lots of questions as you go along. We do the Zooms, and that's a kind of three-part thing that I will run through let's call it the theory, and get you thinking on your forward already about different bit actions, what certain cheeks do. Now, as Julia will probably agree with me, that there is no one scenario for a particular type of bit. You can use one bit, and there will be five or six different ways that we will use it to help a situation or remedy something. So when you read the labels, it's not always evident what those bits can do. So it's really good to hear all the different variables of how we can do it. So the Zooms were interactive as well. We have the WhatsApp group, which if you've got something you thought about afterwards, we use that. For me, the practical weekend is where it all comes together, and very often the students will say that, oh my God, we had so much to think about on the Zooms, and then it all makes sense but when you're watching the horses. So I'm going to let come back to you and ask you what did the practical weekend do for you?
I think the thing for me was the one thing. Well, there were lots of things I took home, but one of the things that stood out for me was in all my training before, if I've looked at changing a bit, I've looked at the front end. And it was actually realizing that you could put a bit in and it might not seem or appear to make a massive difference at the front, but it was making a difference behind. And you could see the change in the way the horse moved and stuff. And it suddenly made me realize that I needed to look at the whole of the horse, not just that front end when I was deciding what bit it needed in.
It's
That was the one thing that really sort of sunk in.
one of the physios that I had on one of the very first courses that we did. She said it just makes you realize that we should be looking at the mouth because it filters back so much to the rest of the body, and that's what I harp on about a lot. I'm just going to let someone in. Uh, what I harp on a lot, hi, because it really does influence anything that is interfering with the mouth or restricting the mouth, whether it be bit, noseband, or whatever. It actually starts right from the tongue and starts that chain of negativity, let's say, restricting the hind leg, not engaging the core. And it's amazing how it can even affect the rider as well, isn't it? We saw that as
Yeah.
well. We did have, well, I tend to have two guest speakers, either equine dentist or a physio or
Why
something.
can I not see that?
So, hi. Um, so yeah, I don't know why we've gone that. I'm just going to mute. That's it. So, um, I would then say, I don't know whether we've got you on central picture now.
I
Uh,
will be if I talk, I think, won't I?
that's better. Yes. Yeah. So what we need to do is then go back to what we were talking about to say how much the guest speakers were influential and what support that gave to the course. And yeah, what did you think about that? About having, because it's not just about listening to me for 3 days. I wanted to really get over the fact that you have you can work with these other dimensions if you like, because it's all part and parcel of it. So I'll let come back to you, Julia.
Yes, we had Matteo from Equine Dentistry, and Michael and Abby from In-Hand Equine Osteopathy, I think. And yeah, it was good because we had them on the first day, so it helped kind of knit it all together. I thought they were both really interesting. I thought Matteo's talk with the pictures and stuff was quite. The pictures were good. That kind of brought it all into reality. So yes, they were both really interesting, and it worked because it gave you before we actually started seeing anybody ride, it gave you a more overall picture of exactly how the horse works.
Yeah, it was interesting actually, because I don't know whether you remember, one of his slides were about a horse that had got like a twig that was caught in the roof of their mouth, and it was quite
Yeah,
severe. They didn't
yeah.
realise for quite a long time. I actually met that horse in my travels, and
Okay.
Doing fine. But yeah, I mean, it's little things like that. And that actually, Matteo was brilliant, and he explained so much, and we were all able to ask lots of questions, me included. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
it's a
yeah.
real good way, and I do tend to pick nice people that are very happy to talk to you. And Abby and Michael from In Hand Osteopathy are brilliant. I really like their techniques, the way they work, and they're also keen to see what they can do as well for the bitting. So I do refer a lot to them as well. But I think it just makes it all more relevant, and like I say, encompasses
Yes,
the whole thing. I'm a bit
yeah.
keen as well, because after the first, I think it's after the second Zoom, I actually asked you to go away and do a couple of case studies, and there was a sort of like a sharp
Yes, you do.
sharp intake of breath. It's like, well, we haven't done the course yet. But what I wanted to do, a lot of the part of it is actually going through that process of facial assessment and extracting as much information as you can about the horse, the rider, any relevant history. So it was good to send them off straight away, because there's never a right time for these things, is there? You're like, no, well, I won't be good enough, or I won't, I don't want to start. It's like, no, go and do it. Off you go. And actually, when we came to the second lot of case studies, which is more towards the end, it was really good, because there was such a marked difference of how the students, how you guys acted and went through it with much more knowledge and much more expectation, dare I say. So yeah, it was definitely worth it. And I think what happens when we have our case study test riders, obviously I'm doing the bitting, but it's inclusive and we're working together. So you're taking bridles off, fitting, chooses sizes. I'm saying, okay, guys, what do you think at this point? I can guide, but after we've done sort of three or four horses on the first day, by the second day, I'm standing back quite a lot. And by the third day, I'm not just standing there drinking tea, but I'm definitely observing and listening to all what's being said in between everybody, because that's like, I can say that's a brilliant thing to bring up, or are you seeing that? So it's just that guide process, and then after the course, after the practical weekend, that isn't it, because yes, you can learn a lot through this course, and especially on the practicals 3 days, but that's not going to teach you what I know in 30 odd years. So I think it's really important to have a aftercare support system, which we have our WhatsApp group, and obviously everybody's welcome to email or call. Um, what did you feel about that? Because that's not something that other courses give at all, is it?
Not that I've found at all, no. And I found it really, really helpful. And even now, the fact that I know that I can message you or call you if I've got a problem, it's fantastic because, as you say, you've been doing it for however many years. I've been doing it for not quite a year yet. So I do still have issues where I think I don't know what to do. But the more I'm doing, hopefully the less that'll come. But it is invaluable having that group still just to bounce ideas off and then still having you at the end of the phone.
Yeah, and I think, that's it. And that's when, you get wise people that you're not going to know it all. Plus the fact you do get that honeymoon period where you're making them changes and you think, oh, this is going really well. But then you start to look for more as well. So you actually want to tweak that improvement, get a percentage or whatever, more, or your knowledge and everything of the bits becomes greater. Um, but I think that having, I suppose I didn't really have anyone to call. There was a couple of people that I could call, but it wasn't quite the same as knowing that you were really locked into it and it was okay to call. Um, so I think actually the support thing is good. I also have a great big pride on what I do. So the pride thing is, I don't want to just send you off, take your money and go. I actually want to be proud that you are, for my own benefit, that you are going out there doing it as best you can. And there will be stumbling blocks. Mostly I can get it right most of the time, but every now and again you hit a horse that's maybe a little bit difficult or a bit tricky for some reason. So, and like we were saying earlier, every horse is different. Every partnership you see, there's similarities, of course, but there are those tweaks that you need to do. And the other thing is when there are different levels now as well. The girls, or there's been a couple of gentlemen, but you can come back to then upgrade to your double masterclass, or you can do top ups. So and the other thing is, we talk about speaking, and Julia was saying how much she's enjoying giving talks, and that's amazing starting point for your business. If you can get to do talks, you've got a look, riding clubs around you or things like that, or there's loads of camps that go on now. That is by far the best way of if you raise awareness to how much bitting can help, or a change of bit can help, then people are going to come forward and want to go work with you. So that's a great thing. So all in all, you felt that it's been a good choice then.
It's been a brilliant choice. Yeah, I've been quite busy with it. Um, I know I said to you earlier that the first couple of talks I did, I was absolutely terrified, um, and sort of stumbled my way through them, if I'm honest. But now I really enjoy them. But I found from every talk I've done, I've got work,
Yeah.
every single one. So and I'm also finding on Facebook, if people are looking for a bit fitter, there are names that I don't recognise that are putting my name forward. And I'm assuming they've been to talks with the riding club and stuff, so it trickles out that way as well. So
I
yes, it's
Sorry, I always used to liken it to you throw a pebble in and then you get that kind of ripple effect. And as you
yeah,
say, if you've got cards or you do talks, get your cards and stuff out there, because it may not be, somebody might not have a problem, and then 6 months down the line they've got a problem, or they have a change of horse, So I think the more that you can, keep available, and what I've really liked about all the people I think that have, done my courses, that you come because there's that like-mindedness about us. Yes, we want a bit, and we're enjoying bitting, but you actually want to make a difference. And I know that sounds a little bit cheesy, but actually when you see how the horses really do evolve and go softer, it just carries you through straight away, and that's when I think the enjoyment just comes. There's still days where I just get so excited when you see a real breakthrough for a horse that's struggled, and a rider, because obviously there's that knock-on effect. But yeah, it doesn't get boring, does it?
no, it doesn't, not at all.
So, like I said, this is actually quite a short and sweet little intro, but I just, like I said, wanted somebody that has done the course, doing really well, and in a year, it's quite a short time for a new business, but actually it's rolling really well for you, isn't it? So, yeah,
It is, yeah, it's going better than my teaching is. It's
yeah,
good.
that's great. But the
I'm
nice
really glad I did it. It was definitely a good move.
yeah, you can mingle it. Brilliant.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, like I said, if anybody else is looking and they want to become a bit fitter, if you would like to have a look at the website, or I'm happy to give a call to anyone that wants to know some more about it. Or, like I said, there are other courses, not quite so involved, but just enhances your own knowledge, or you can do a bit your own horse day. But I really appreciate that, Julia, for you coming on tonight, and good luck, and I'll keep up with the progress. Okay,
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.